What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with Gab and Maui. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Yeah! Gilas naman! Gilas naman!
Gilas.
Lapit na.
Okay. Sige, so ayan na, nabanggit na ni Gab. Nakita nyo na rin sa title sa baba. We're going to talk about the Gilas team today. Marami tayong engagement and comments from the last episode. Lock maybe or na for the Ateneo UAAP seniors team. Today, we're going to do something similar, but we're going to choose our 12-man roster for the Gilas team. No? So yung Gilas team that's going to play this August 25. World Cup starts August 25. So by then we should have that final 12-man roster, but as of right now, officially, I think the people that are still in the running, I guess, are 16 players, diba? 16-man roster siya. And before you guys comment, before you guys react, let me just be clear. I think it was Coach Chot who said this, and I think yung Gilas management has been saying this. This is really the team. Itong 16-man roster na to, this is more or less the team. Obviously, like sina Ange and Brownlee could have still been part of this, pero since we're going with Jordan Clarkson, we sort of removed them. The others injured or begged off the team. So, more or less, we're going to select the 12 players from the 16-man roster, but they're all very deserving. So, sa totoo lang, kahit sino piliin, namin, or kahit sino yung maging final 12-man roster, this is really more or less the team. It just so happens na the rule is, okay, you have to select 12 players officially. But, so just to be clear, we're not hating on the 4 players that will eventually be removed from the team. It's just, ito lang yung feeling namin from what we've seen and what we need. But if we could bring in all 16, why not? Diba? Unfortunately, hindi. So that's what we're going to do today. Ready na ba kayo, Gab and Maui?
Let's go.
Ready na. I've been thinking about this for a long time.
Actually, excited na si Gab. Matagal na niya gusto to gawin, guys. So, here we go. Okay, so I pulled out all the 16 players. Nakikita niyo na siya, nandiyan na siya sa ilalim. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go through them by position. So, we started with the big men, so let's start with the big men again. So, with your center and power forwards, sino ang mga locks nyo or who will make it to the 12-man roster? I can start. I'll start. Sige, just to kick things off. Junmar Fajardo. The best big man in the PBA. You would say, the best player in the PBA for like the past what? How many years?
Or so siguro.
Oo, diba? The past 10 years, he's been dominating the PBA.
I think he's now the GOAT. Unofficially, he's the GOAT of the PBA already.
I wouldn't argue with that, Gab. I wouldn't argue that. Arguably, the GOAT, Junmar Fajardo, for me, definitely needs to make it. And he's a lock. And syempre, we need size. We need big men. So, Junmar is a lock. Any other comments kay Junmar? May masasabi ba kayo kay Junmar?
No, I think you hit it spot on. Junmar is a lock based on experience and just being the best big man here in the Philippines for the past decade or so. He was part of the original Gilas who went to World Cup. I think he deserves to make it. I'm happy he's finally healthy. He's been through a lengthy battle with a foot injury. So buti na lang, at least he's available to represent us sa World Cup.
Yeah, I think Junmar Fajardo is definitely a lock for me. I think we've criticized Junmar enough in the past FIBA windows. No, he can still dominate inside despite his clear yung limitation in terms of speed, foot speed, guarding the perimeter. He can still dominate inside the paint. He's still pretty crafty. Ako, very amazed pa rin ako pang nanonood ako kay Junmar, pa nakuha niya sa loob. He really knows how to use his body, how to use his elbows to create space, to get inside points. He's not much of a rim protector as I wish he would be, but he can still dominate by rebounding, by just scoring inside, just being a presence. My worry lang with Junmar is just like when we faced LeBron and Jordan in the past, he's gonna get played off the court, I think, in a lot of these games. Again, he's very slow. When the opposing team decides to shoot threes, I think Junmar is gonna be rendered useless on the defensive end. Luckily, yung mga ka-bracket natin play big men. So, let's see what Junmar can do against Karl Anthony Towns.
Let's go!
Opening game yun, opening game.
Goat versus
So yeah,
the
he's
cat.
a lock. He's a lock. He's a lock.
Yeah.
The Kraken
So,
versus the
aligned,
Cat.
Kraken
Let's go!
versus the cat. Oo nga, no? Okay, we all have Junmar as a lock. Gab, meron ka bang lock or sure in sa big men?
Barring any unforeseen injuries or whatever circumstances outside circumstances happen with his management or with SVP, I think Kai Soto should be a lock for this team. Again, he's the only
Mr. Magic
7-3.
himself.
Yes, the only 7-3 player we have in the Philippines, and he's skilled enough. I think he should be a lock for this team, despite whatever noise is happening around his camp or with the SVP. I think he should be he should make this team. Him and Junmar should back each other up, and I want to see him in Gilas because just like what Maui has been pointing out in our past episodes in the past few months, Kai Soto needs this as much as Gilas needs Kai Soto. So we need him to, obviously try to win at least 1 or 2 games in this World Cup. And Kai Soto needs this in order to prove that, to up his stock. Maybe some NBA teams will take notice. His summer league composed of 1 game, 1 brief game. So, it's a need. It's a win-win for both sides if he plays. So that's me. Kai Soto is definitely a lock.
He gets to go up against Cat also, diba? Go, Maui.
Yeah,
Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, I think si Kai Soto, we've been saying this the past few months, he has to play in the World Cup. It's his coming out party but for me it's really about yung future ng Gilas. Kai Soto has been the face of the Batang Gilas program for probably the past 5 to 7 years. And this is very good to see that finally one of the players from the youth squad nasa senior team. And I think him playing is a good signal to the future of Gilas. I'm just happy that finally all the noise is finally over. Finally nag-agree na rin yung SBP and this camp. It's crazy how people are pointing out, tayo lang ba yung nation na kailangan may contract to play for the national team? I'm not sure if other nations have this stipulation, have this contract. But finally, Kai Soto is going to play for the Philippines sa World Cup. What a world of drama again. I'm just happy to see him eligible to play.
Okay. So, Kai Soto, lock. Maui, meron ka pa bang gusto ipasok na big man sa 12-man roster?
Yeah, I'm probably going with AJ Edu just because I want also yung continuity from the youth squad. If you watch yung last few games ng Philippines, yung mga tune-up games nila leading up to the World Cup, AJ Edu was very effective. He can shoot the 3, he can defend, more mobile big men, more mobile power forward. I think he should be a lock. I'm not sure if AJ Edu doesn't make it, maraming tao magagalit. Then I would be one of those people. I want
tayo lahat magagalit.
I want AJ Edu in. It's about building a program also. If Soto and Edu are in, they'll probably be mainstays in the Gilas program. I think this has to be the best place for him to showcase. AJ Edu is finally healthy after 3 years of excruciating injuries with his knees. So I'm happy that he will get his chance. Hopefully he makes it sa final 12. I think it's a lock.
Yeah,
He's
so
one
I
guy.
agree.
He's go
Go.
Sam. Go
Yeah.
Sam.
So I was gonna say I agree, and I was going to say sa akin dun sa ano no sa mga leagues or games that they've played, si AJ Edu yung biggest surprise sa akin kasi I didn't know how he played. Hindi ko naman siya napapanood. I know si Abando is also like a new guy to the team, pero we've seen Abando's like MVP sa Korean League. But Edu was like this mystery man, diba? Alam lang natin from the Gilas youth team, or matagal na natin siyang gusto sa Gilas. So it was a very, very, very pleasant surprise to me when I saw AJ Edu do really well, despite limited minutes, do really well nung recent games nila. And okay yung ano niya, okay yung energy niya on the court, okay yung 3-point shooting niya, nakakatira siya ng tres. So they have to respect him there. So I agree. I think AJ Edu surprised everyone with the way he played, and he has to be a lock for me. Gab.
I was just gonna say he's probably the only big man in the 16-man pool that does not get exposed when he's on the perimeter. He can actually move his feet, and he can protect the rim. I think there was this one exhibition game against I forgot the country, Senegal. Was it Senegal or Iran? I think it was Iran. Yung that I watched. He got 5 blocks in the first half. So he could protect the rim. He's pretty athletic, despite all of the injuries that Maui alluded to. He can still move. He can still jump. Again, no youth. At some point, we have to let go of the old guard. You know, the older players. We have to let them go already. I'm sorry, but we have to start building up for the future. We have to put young guys in this roster. We can't just hold on to that 2013 miracle run that we had. So for me, AJ Edo should be a lock for this team. I think honestly, when it comes down to clutch time, I think he's gonna get more minutes than Junmar. To me, because he's faster and more mobile than Junmar, and he has the 3-point shot. No, he has that in his bag. So for me, I agree with both of you. AJ Edo should be a lock for this team.
Okay. Maganda yung sinabi mo, Gab, no, na we have to eventually let go of the old guards. And I think this team, very bittersweet to sa akin. Kasi I have one more big man that I will put in as a lock, and that's Japet Aguilar. Junmar might be the best big man in the PBA, but si Japet is, you would say a more athletic, more agile version of Junmar. He can play offense, defense. Alam mo naman yan, atinista din yan. So we've been big fans of Japet ever since. Pero itong team na to for me is bittersweet because of what Gab said. I think itong team sort of represents yung turning point dun sa big men ng Gilas eh. Kasi you have the old guards, Junmar and Japet. And admittedly, itong dalawa, they're not in their primes, probably. No? Junmar, sabi mo, Gab, has been experiencing multiple injuries the past few years. Same thing with Japet. I think Japet, like in the last PBA season, was dealing with foot injuries or something like that. I forget. Basta he was also injured in the past few seasons. But obviously, these two were the mainstays of Gilas and probably the two best big men in the Gilas team the past few years. But admittedly, medyo tumatanda na sila. They're probably not in their prime. So eventually, they will have to,
definitely not in their primes.
Definitely not in their primes. So eventually, they will have to retire from Gilas. Pero yung maganda dito is, nandiyan na si Kai and si AJ Edu waiting in the wings. And makikita mo, sobrang exciting because Kai and Edu are like future, parang modern big men in the sense na they're both hitting threes or shooting threes. Though not naman knockdown shooters. But kaya exciting din sa akin, di ba? Kaya bittersweet kasi ang ganda lang na makita mo the old guys and then the new guys coming in. But for me, because there are only 4 guys that are like above 6'9" in this lineup,
That's a good point.
for me, Japet Aguilar is a lock. Kasi may
Actually,
ma-foul trouble lang or ma-injure lang dun sa isang player mo, medyo kulang ka na ng big man. So, just for that then, for me, Japet is a lock. Gab.
That was gonna be my point right after you, Sam. If we had any other choice, I would actually say nah to Japeth. But in this pool where there are only 4 big men, I think Chotres will have no choice but to put Japeth in the lineup. Listen, I love Japeth Aguilar. Obviously, yung Atenista siya. He's been one of the stalwarts of the Gilas program for years now. But he looks so washed in the. I think part of it also he's playing hurt.
Grabe naman yung
Maybe
wash.
that's a part of
He's
it.
hurt. He's hurt.
Hindi, I'm sorry, but in the China pocket tournament that they played in, he looked so washed. I'm sorry. He looked slow. He couldn't get up as much anymore to fight for rebounds. He couldn't move his feet. I question why he was being given minutes. Honestly, for me, he's just an emergency big man for this coming World Cup. It should be a trio of Edu, Soto, and Fajardo getting those front court minutes, and maybe bring in another guy we will probably talk about later to play a small ball 4. But you cannot play Japeth extended minutes in this World Cup. I don't think so. I think you're gonna get exposed defensively, and he's not that strong na rin to go up against the likes of like a Bruno Fernando of Angola. He's gonna get eaten alive. So he's a lock just because there's a shortage of big man in this pool. But yeah, I don't see Japeth getting big minutes in this World Cup.
All right. So Japet is a lock. Agree, Maui?
Yeah, I agree. The shortage of big man is just too much. I mean, there's no other choice but to put Japet in.
Okay, sige. So we have 4 people as locks. That's 1/3 of the team. Let's move on to the wings. Ito, marami-rami. But sige, let's talk about them. Gab, who is your lock in the wing position? Ngayon, wing, it's arguable kasi some of these guys can play guard, some of these guys can play wing because of the height, ganyan. So let's just go with what you think is like a wing player.
Well, I did allude to him earlier. I think Jamie Malonzo is a lock for this team. Again, 6'7", has now developed an outside shot. I've been critical of Jamie Malonzo in the past. You know this. Hindi lang dahil yung nasa lista siya. Just saying. I've been very critical about this game, but he has improved and he's shown himself to be very invaluable to this team. Again, in certain situations, I think it's better to play Jamie Malonzo at power forward as stretch 4, just to get that versatility in there. He's athletic. He can guard multiple positions. He's not going to be exposed on the perimeter. So, yeah, Jamie Malonzo, I think he's a lock for this team. I would be shocked if he's not on this team. Very shocked.
Agree. I agree with that. I think Malonzo should be a lock. If you're facing against small forwards and power forwards or listed 6'7" and above, Malonzo is a must. I think it would be crazy for the Gilas program, the coaching staff, not to include Jaime Malonzo. I think he's shown enough also during the past windows that he belongs in the international stage. I think he's gonna be a mainstay also of the Gilas program. And yeah, I think he's a lock.
Okay, I think si Jamie Malonzo is like the 5th tallest guy already after the 4 big men. So just for that, then auto lock siya for me. But as you guys mentioned, I think what Jamie brings to the table is his versatility. Like he can play a small ball 4, really big like wing player. So Coach Chot, Coach Tim Cone can really do like a lot of things with Jamie Malonzo, and his improved 3-point shot, lalo na sa corners ata, dun siya madalas tumitira. I think he's improved there, so definitely a lock. Next, Maui. Who's your next lock at the wing position?
Yeah, I think he's a guard wing, but I'm gonna put probably Dwight Ramos in as a potential small forward shooting guard for Gilas. I think his size is very good.
Papa Dwight.
He knows how to play.
Yung kailangan natin ng yung ng poster boy. Kaya kailangan si Dwight nandyan.
He knows how to play against taller players with his experience as a Division 1 player and as a player in Japan. I think he's proven that he is a mainstay also of Gilas. Being part of the team almost all of the windows with Terdy Ravenna. I think Dwight Ramos should be a lock. I'm not sure why there's now hate with Dwight Ramos. It's similar with the hate of the Ravenna brothers.
There is?
There is.
Meron ba?
Hate.
Hindi ko alam.
There
Hindi
is.
ko alam.
There is hate. I'm not sure why there's hate with Dwight Ramos. I think
Why?
he's been one of the most consistent Gilas players. He does what needs to be done. He plays the point guard, shooting guard, and small forward slots when it's needed. With his 3-point shooting and his playmaking, I think he has to be part of the team. He's one of my locks, definitely.
Is he getting hate because he fought with Kim Kiana D? Or is that
hindi to chismis,
is that why?
Hindi to chismis podcast.
I don't know. Why are we hating on Dwight?
Oo nga, that's weird. Ngayon ko lang din narinig yun. But
I'm
I
seeing some
agree,
hate.
Dwight's a lock. I agree. Just like Jamie, si Dwight naman versatile in the sense that he can play like 1, 2, 3. As you mentioned, Maui. So shooting, versatility, that's a lock for me. And he has size, so that's a lock. Okay, my turn. Next guy in the wing position that I think is a lock. I already mentioned him. Another newbie to the team, Renza Bando. And when you talk about versatile players, ibang level tong Renza Bando na to. Can play both on the offensive end and on the defensive end. Pinapag-usapan ata natin sa chat sa Telegram, 'di ba, yung chase down block ba yun yung mga blocks ni Renza Bando, yung highlight reels ni Bando. Ang galing talaga niya mag-timing no? Tapos lumilipad So we really need that kind of energy. And 3-point knockdown, 3-point shooter din siya, no? In fact, I think it was si Coach Alden Ayo who mentioned na, sabi niya, actually si Abando has no problem offensively way back, pero it's the defensive end that he needed to improve on, but he's really worked on that. Tapos nagulat ako, nga, no? Pero parang for me kasi defensively dominant na si Abando ever since but I just love watching this guy. And yung personality niya na like super chill guy, really entertaining. I think he should be really long-term part of the future of Gilas.
And he addresses a need. If there's one glaring thing that we sorely lack in this version of Gilas, it's shooting. And he's the one of the guys who can actually consistently hit it from outside. I mean, since his college days, he's been hitting threes. I think in the KBL, he also hits and launches a lot of threes. So I actually lobby for him to get more shots. It's just weird that he doesn't. I mean, maybe it's an offensive design, or maybe it's part of the plan for him not to get that much shots. But he can knock down a lot of threes. And yung nga, Sam, just for highlight reel sake, I want to see him in Gilas. I mean, if we're gonna lose by 20 to some team, at least we're gonna see a chase down block from Renzo Bando, or maybe a dunk. Maui.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maui.
Ako naman, I think I'm not a hater of Abando. But I'm gonna say that I think Abando is overrated in a sense that
Whoa!
in the sense that we're putting him above everyone else. I mean, if you
I-
read social media, the love, it's like he's a lock player like Clarkson. But yeah, I think Abando address a need with in terms of yung shooting. But if you read yung poster ng mga Korean sites, I think what's lacking with Abando still is yung consistency. There are games that he struggles defensively. There are games that he struggles offensively. But I think with the current lineup that we have, we need another wing player. We need another shooter. So Abando's probably a lock. But I'm not as high as I'm not probably as high as everyone with Abando's future in Gilas just because of also his height. I think he's not a very tall wing. He's probably 6'2" at most, 6'2", 6'3" at most. But yeah, probably in this iteration of Gilas, he has to be a lock. He addresses a lot of needs when it comes to length, shooting, and probably just being that energy player off the bench for Gilas. If people are excited with Abando, then he is a lock. He should be a lock just because of the energy he will give the crowd. Where we have to we have to take advantage of the Philippines being having that home court advantage. I mean, we saw how the Philippines played during most of its home games during versus powerhouse teams. I think yung masama lang talaga na experience against sa powerhouse teams against Australia nagka-brawl before, but we saw this team perform good against teams like France, teams a lot of good teams during Olympic qualifiers before, and Abando is a player that excites a lot of people and should be part of the team.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Gab, who's your next lock sa wing position? Meron pa
I'd
ba?
actually, I don't have any more locks on the wings,
Okay.
honestly.
Okay. That's
Kayo,
fine.
baka
So,
meron kayo.
sorry. Recap nga muna tayo. So, we have Kai, Edu, Japet, and Fajardo as bigs. Sa wings, we have Malonzo, Abando, Dwight. Okay?
Yeah.
Correct. We're not
That's
missing
7.
anyone. Maui, meron ka pa ba?
Yeah, actually, I was talking about height and matching up. I think I just have to bring it. I think Oftana also deserves to be part of the pool with. If you're talking about Abando, I think Oftana should be part of the pool also. He's not flashy. I mean, Oftana has never been flashy, but he gets the job done. He can play the 3 slot. He's 6'5", 6'6", and he can probably match up better. Similar to Arvin Tolentino, who was part of the pool, I think, nung beginning. I think Oftana deserves a maybe, probably for now. But if you were to ask me, I'd probably debate between Abando and Oftana. Again, I'm not hating Abando. I've been a huge Abando fan since college. He was my favorite player sa UST before when Alden Aya was handling the team. But I think just because Oftana has that size, I think he has to be considered also.
You know, Maui, I would agree with you on the size part. And on the shooting front, I mean,
Shooting.
Calvin
Yeah.
Oftana can hit threes. My only concern is that he seems to be in the doghouse with Chot Reyes, which is weird because didn't Chot Reyes trade for him when he was when Coach Chot Reyes was still coaching Talk and Tex? I mean, in the past windows and even in the more recent exhibition games, Calvin Oftana has not been getting a ton of minutes. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know if he Coach Chot Reyes prefers other wings like Bobby Ray or maybe si Abando nga. But yeah, Calvin Oftana is a tall wing who can shoot. I think the only knock on Oftana is he can't handle a lot. He can't handle as well as the other wing players or as the other perimeter players. So
Yeah.
in the dribble drive offense, you have to get into the paint. He can't really do that. He can't really create shots for others yet. So maybe that's why Chotres is veering away from him. But it's kind of weird to me talaga. For me, Calvin Oftana, yung tama si Mao, he's a perfect wing eh. He's 6'5", 6'6", can shoot. You can match up on the defensive end. And Coach Chotres traded for him. And now he's not getting minutes under him. It's just so weird. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's a maybe for me, along with the other wings.
I agree. I agree. So Oftana is a maybe for me. Um I decided I really wanted to put him in just because of the shooting then. I think he's one of the best shooters sa team. But I decided not to go with it muna. So he's a maybe. So balikan natin si Oftana.
So
But
how
you
many
made a great
players?
point there.
How many
So
players
so
do we
far we
have?
have 7.
7
So
players.
far we have 7. Okay? Next, guards. Gab. Sino ang
Obviously.
first guard mo on the
Obviously.
table?
Well, we'd have no natural point guard on this team. And the closest approximation to a point guard that we have on this team, I think, are two players. I'm gonna name one of them. I think Pinoy fans, magra-riot sila kung hindi ipasok si Scottie Thompson sa team na to.
Barring any yung injury, assuming na he's healthy. So right now, since he's practicing, we're assuming na he's healthy, guys. Okay? So go ahead, Gab.
Yeah, so I think Scottie Thompson is the closest approximation, along with another player, which I think you guys will mention later, to a point guard yung that we have. And, he plays it well. I think Scottie as an intangibles guy, a guy who hustles, plays defense, plays his ass off on defense, distributes the ball. I think he's invaluable to this team. And yeah, if we're playing here in the country, in the Philippines, we have to have Scottie Thompson on this team. We have to have people, the Barangay Ginebra fans have to watch and cheer for Scottie Thompson. And honestly, it's not just because he's a fan favorite. He's a really good player. Again, those out of position rebounds yung that he gets, those hustle points, those passes yung that he makes yung off the dribble, I think are pretty valuable. His lack of shooting is worrying. I think that's what more astute basketball fans will knock on him. He's not a knockdown shooter for a guard. But yeah, I think Scottie, again, we have a lack of point guards here. So I think Scottie Thompson has to be there.
Yeah, talk about energy, guys, Maui, diba? Sabi mo kanina, Renza Bando probably really excites the crowd. I think other than Abando, ito talaga ang number one energy guy that really, pag nandyan siya, the crowd gets excited kasi you don't know what kind of highlight play he's going to make. Fan favorite siya, sabi nyo nga, lalo na mga kabarangay. I still watch the PBA, lalo na yung Ginebra because of these guys. I actually disagree, Gab. I think si Scottie has drastically improved his 3-point shooting, especially in like the recent seasons. Nakita mo, like, siya na yung tumitira ng game-winning 3-point shot for the team. Like, Coach Tim Cone sets plays for him to take that 3-point shot. So, he wasn't initially, but I feel like now he's at least a decent 3-point shooter. So, decent to good 3-point shooter, actually. But I agree, he's a lock, definitely.
He just doesn't take a lot of them, eh. I mean, you know, if you're gonna be respected on the perimeter, people are, your defenders are gonna go to you, zone in on you. You have to take those threes. He just doesn't take them. So, again, that worries me, and I think a lot of basketball fans are worried about that too. But then again, he does so many other things well. I think you have to put him in.
Maui.
Yeah, I think yung biggest surprise ko lang dito sa guards natin is inuna ni Gab si Scottie Thompson kay Jordan Clarkson.
Oo nga. Araw din si JC.
I was super surprised that Gab chose Scottie Thompson kasi baka nga mag-riot.
You know why, Maui? Because if it were up to me, Jordan Clarkson would not be part of this team.
Whoa!
Grabe to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Brownlee or Ange for me. Actually, more Ange. For the lack of big man, you should be Ange. But yeah, up to me, Jordan Clarkson will not be part of this thing. Hindi! Jordan Clarkson is a freaking ball stopper. Yeah, he's good. He's a good scorer, but he's a ball stopper. Have you watched Gilas play with Jordan Clarkson in any of the past games? They just stand around and watch him play.
Yeah. Actually,
that's not gonna win us games.
Yun ang biggest concern ko with any lineup with Clarkson just because of not having that much reps. And how Gilas performed when Clarkson played before. So far it hasn't been pretty it hasn't been successful. But hopefully it's a different case this time. It's just that we need that NBA player, that headliner, and I think Clarkson fits that bill. I think Clarkson has to make the lineup. It's crazy if we decide not to put Clarkson in just because I think this is one of the best reasons. I think we have to put Clarkson in just to give spotlight to fill foreigner players who are in that age that they have to get that passport. I think this is a move for the future.
Good
If you
point.
put a player of Clarkson's caliber, a player like Jalen Green would probably get a passport before he turns 16. If a player in Clarkson's caliber decides to play for the Philippines, then more Filipino foreigner players will respect the
Good
program and
point.
start to play for the Philippines. Again, I think it's disgusting lang again. Similar to how Kai Soto had a very dramatic finale into how he finally agreed to play for Gilas. It was the same for Clarkson. I think we discussed this before. It's crazy how players have to have drama before they have to play for the national team. It's not the case for other national teams. I mean, teams like Bahamas, I mentioned to you guys off air, have the Andre Ayton and Buddy Hill just play for the team and even got a naturalized player like Eric Gordon. I mean, it's crazy how it's so dramatic when it comes to Philippine basketball. Parang telenovela pag Philippine basketball. But I think I agree with Gab. Thompson is a in, but also Clarkson is another in for me. I just had to segue into putting Clarkson into the pool. He is a must play for us because we decided not to play Ange and Brownlee. But I also agree with Gab with regards to Brownlee. I think Brownlee has meshed well with the team. He has shown that he has better chemistry, probably because of his experience also with most of the players during his stint in the PBA.
And the coaching staff kasi nandun si Tim Cone sa coaching staff. So you have a couple of Ginebra teammates and his coach part of it, no. Yeah, I agree.
Clarkson is
Just
definitely
go
yung-
Gab, go Gab.
Clarkson is the listen, I may disagree when I said na, you know, if it were up to me, wouldn't be part. But looking at everything, the fact that hindi natin sinama si Brownlee si Ange, I mean, now I think it's sure we have to put Jordan Clarkson in, and we have to have a headliner for all the fans. I mean, just for marketing sake, yeah, we have to put Jordan Clarkson in. It's not like he's a bad player, you know, Jordan Clarkson. I mean, he was a 6th man of the year in the NBA. He scores 20 points a game in the NBA. He's a damn good scorer. Yun nga lang, when he plays for Gilas, it's pretty ugly basketball. And yeah, if we play the way we played back, kailan ba yung last window nandun si Clarkson? Saudi Arabia and one other
Lebanon,
team
I
that we
think.
lost to.
Lebanon.
yata.
Yung Lebanon. Yeah, I mean, we lost to Lebanon. I think, tama diba? We lost to Lebanon. We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then back home we won against Saudi Arabia, and everyone was like, "Oh, we won against Saudi Arabia with Jordan Clarkson." It was against Saudi Arabia. Have you watched them play? They're like freaking amateurs. Of course, we were gonna win against Saudi Arabia. Good God! But yeah, he's a lock for me. JC is a lock for me. I mean, he's an NBA player, but you know, if it's up to me, it was either Brownlee or Ange. Jordan Clarkson, I think, masyadong nag-ball watch mga tao pang yung bola nasa kanya eh. And that's just me. Sam, you were gonna say something?
So, okay. So, first of all, agree, Jordan Clarkson is a lock. I think hindi ka magkakamali with any one of those three players. I think yun lang tatlo talagang obviously sila lang yung naturalized din. But I think whoever from the three yung nakapasok, hindi ka magkakamali. It's not a wrong answer, I guess is my point. But, so, obviously, we're getting Jordan Clarkson, not Ange or Brownlee. But, I am actually a bit more optimistic now because, you know, well, number one, Maui, good point. Uh, it's a good sort of, it's like a good message to like future Phil foreign players na, hey, Jordan Clarkson wants to play for Gilas. Um, maybe this is something that you want to do in the future. So it's a good message for the future of Gilas. Um, Number two, another good point, Maui. I think yung issue dito is less about, okay, Jordan Clarkson is a scorer, whatever, but he's still an NBA level talent, diba? So it's less about Jordan Clarkson as a ball hog or whatever, but I think yung bigger issue is wala masyadong practice with Jordan Clarkson. I think it doesn't matter kung ball hog scoring guard si Jordan Clarkson or playmaking guard or whatever, defensive player, basta NBA level talent. But it would have been nice kung nakapag-practice sila or they had enough time to gel together or practice together. But I am optimistic kasi they played together. As you guys mentioned, as Gab mentioned, they played together already in the past. Yun, I think when they first played together, talagang halos wala ding silang masyadong time together. And I think that was like, parang minadali lang talaga, basically.
Pinapanood
So,
lang nila eh.
exactly. So, that's where I'm getting at. No? So, what I'm hoping for, crossing my fingers, is better na yung relationship now, in a sense. Mas kilala na nila si Jordan and si JC, mas kilala na rin niya yung mga locals or Filipino players. A few things lang din why I'm optimistic. And I have to credit, I think it was Mikey Reyes who said this. Number one, sabi ni Mikey, the team just needs to overcome yung pagiging starstruck nila kay Jordan, di ba? And I think last time, yun yung medyo nangyari. And dahil starstruck sila, parang nahihiya sila, pinapanood lang nila. They let Jordan do his thing. But now that they've played with him na, I think easier to overcome that hiya factor. Second, I think the point that Mikey wanted to say was, or sorry, was it Mikey or someone else? But anyway, someone mentioned na, I think Jordan is actually a better facilitator now. Now that he's older, sa Utah din, he's a better facilitator. I think parang career high siya in assists. So, whatever that means to you, but in his recent parang seasons, yung assists niya have improved. So, I'm optimistic. But I think,
We have no
again,
choice
just
but
going
to be
back.
optimistic.
Oo nga, actually, sa totoo lang. But I think, Maui, going back to what you said,
Yeah.
I think for me, the core problem talaga was like, wala masyadong training with Jordan eh. Whereas Ange and Brownlee, as Gab mentioned, si Brownlee
Mainstays.
knows the system, knows everyone. He plays against these guys like every year. 'Di ba? So, kilalang kilala na ni Brownlee at ng coaches at ng players yung isa't isa. And alam mo, may intangible din yun eh. Plus, Brownlee is also a fan favorite, 'di ba? But, you know, at the end of the day, we got Jordan Clarkson. And I'm still happy that we got Jordan Clarkson. Another guy na will excite the Filipino fans. So, okay, Jordan Clarkson is a lock. Sorry, napahaba yung
he won't
conversation.
excite me.
Hater. Hindi, joke lang.
Last three.
If it were another system with Jordan Clarkson in it, I would agree with you, Sam, about the optimism. It's just that Coach Chot Reyes' system kind of panders to the way Jordan Clarkson plays. So I'm not optimistic. But prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, JC.
Okay. So, JC and Scotty Thompson lock. So far we have 9, 4, 3, 7, and then the 2, that's 9. So, last 3 slots. So, ito medyo mahirap na for me, to be honest. So, I'm gonna go with we've been talking about it. I've been talking about versatility, guys that can play multiple positions. We need more height. So I have to go with Bobby Ray Parks as my other lock. Uh, just like Dwight Ramos, Bobby Ray is sort of like a big guard that can also play the wing. 6'5", can play point guard, shooting guard, can play a small forward also. So I had him as a wing actually, wing guard. Uh, and I think in the last game nung sa China stint nila, parang uminit si Bobby Ray and he was the one that helped the team pull off the win against Iran, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And he sort of proved that he really belongs to the Gilas team. So for me, Bobby Ray is a lock.
And shooting, I think that's the reason why I believe Bobby Ray Parks has. He was a maybe for me, but given the locks that we have, we severely lack shooting, and he's one of the guys who can provide it. Again, he's a guy who gets exposed defensively. Uh, Mapapansin mo lang when you watch games when internationally, he gets beaten off the dribble a lot of the times. But he can shoot. And in this team, there's not really much shooting. So I think Bobby Ray Parks has to make it. Again, and also height. You good point, Sam. Also height. Uh, so yeah, Bobby Ray. I don't know if Maui agrees. Do you have someone else, Maui, or do you agree that Bobby Ray should be a lock for this team?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Bobby Ray Parks. I think he's proven enough throughout the years that he should be also be a mainstay of Gilas. He provides everything that you need for a shooting guard. That's just yeah, I think he's a lock.
Okay.
Two more.
So, agree tayo,
Wow.
Bobby Ray is a lock. We have two more and we have a couple of names na hindi pa natin nababanggit. Let's just recap kung sino yung hindi pa natin linalock in sa team. We have Kiefer Ravena, 30 Ravena, CJ Perez, Roger Pugoy, and si Oftana.
Tana.
Actually, is
Tana.
Oftana and ay sorry, meron pa pala si Newsome.
Newsome.
So 6 guys, 2 more slots. Who are your last 2 picks? Gab first, and then let's go with Maui. Gab, convince
Okay.
us.
I'm gonna make an argument for might call me a homer, but Kiefer Ravena I think should be on this team. I referenced it earlier. We don't have any point guards. Kiefer Ravena is masquerading as a point guard. He should be a shooting guard. He's a scorer, but he plays point guard internationally, and we're gonna have to deal with it. And as opposed to the other guards that are remaining, like Newsome and Perez, Kiefer can shoot better than the two of them. So and yeah, he's a better point guard, I think, than Perez and Chris Newsome. So I do like Kiefer on this team. A lot of international experience for Kiefer ever since he was a little boy. He's been playing internationally. So put me down for Kiefer Ravena. And he knows how to score, which I've criticized Kiefer in the past na he sometimes passes off really good looks to pass. But I think he should look to score the ball more because he knows how to get to his spot. But yeah, I expect Thompson and Ravena to alternate the point guard duties for this upcoming World Cup.
Yeah, I think
Maui.
I have to agree with Gab. Kiefer should be a lock. Regardless if Thompson is able to play or not. Right now, it's looking like he's going to be able to play. But I think Kiefer is a lock. Again, this is one of the guy that I don't know why there is so much hate with Kiefer. He's dedicated practically his
Oo
whole
nga.
career to the Gilas program from the ranks from the youth programs. I just remember a statement from Batman, you stay long enough to be the villain. It's crazy how people are hating on Kiefer Ravena. I think he should be part of the Gilas team just because of experience, just because of his commitment the past all these years, probably more than a decade of experience in international play. And I think, yes, because we lack a lot of point. We lack on the point guard slot, and he's probably the best remaining from the pool. Nothing against Newsom or Perez. I think Kiefer plays the point guard slot better. He also has a better 3-point shot, like Gab mentioned. So I think he should be a lock.
I agree. Same sentiments. I think he's the next best point guard sa options natin here. And I think si Coach Alden Ayo also agrees. He did say that also na si
Yeah, I
Kiefer
was just about to say. I was
is
just about to say.
is the
Madami
next
ng,
best playmaker sa
yeah.
team.
Tsaka in
So hindi
fairness,
lang kami hindi lang mga bolero, pati si
yeah.
Coach Alden Ayo.
in
Legit
fairness
yun.
to Kiefer Ravena, he has a lot of haters, but finally yung fans niya are starting to defend him. I think if I've seen a lot of posts from Facebook and Twitter in different groups that people are starting to defend Kiefer right now. I think finally, I mean, it's crazy how the amount of hate the Ravena brothers have gotten throughout the years.
Okay. Kiefer lock.
One
which
more
leaves
slot.
us to our last slot. Maui. Close us. Close this roster and let us know who
Yeah,
will make your last slot.
I think yung last slot ko is probably CJ Perez. Just because of his performance nung World Cup before. He and Bolick were probably the best player nung time na yon. So I think he should make it just because of that. Probably another player you can play off guard or point guard with Clarkson. So I think CJ Perez with his athleticism and energy has to make it. Again, if it were up to me, again, I'm sorry for all the Abando fans. If it were up to me, I'd probably get Abando out and Oftana in also. But I think CJ Perez should make it to the lineup. That's just me.
Okay, let me butt in kasi si Gab nag-react. But I actually agree with Maui here. I ended up with CJ for the same reasons. Para sa akin parang he can score on his own. If walang offense, just let CJ score. But I did have Oftana as my close 12th man here.
Si Pogoy sasabihin ni Gab.
For the shooter.
No!
Actually,
Oftana
no,
was
no.
my pick!
Yeah.
Oftana was my pick. I'm sorry. If Thompson is gonna be one of our smaller guards, I don't think we can have CJ Perez. I mean, he's not. He can't shoot also. I mean, he tries, but he's so inconsistent in his 3-point shot. I think we're gonna need shooting and size. You guys made the argument. Maui made the argument for Oftana. I want Oftana in. I don't know if I could persuade you guys. I think Oftana is a better fit for this team than CJ Perez right now. Assuming that we're putting Scotty in, we can't have another guard who can't shoot.
Okay, that's a good point. Actually, so just to be clear, dito sa list ko, I have CJ in, but I put Scotty as a question mark. But to your point, Gab, if Scotty is a sure in and he's 100% healthy, I would pick Oftana. I agree with you. But if not, if Scotty is like 70%, maybe I would lean towards CJ just as a backup, just in case hindi makalaro si Scotty. But you make a good point.
Maui,
yeah.
have I persuaded you on Oftana?
I think I made the argument myself kanina about Oftana.
Oh, yun nga, di ba?
Oo nga. Okay.
I made the
Okay,
argument.
there we go.
No. But I'm saying if I were to choose nga Abando or Oftana, I would put Oftana. So I'll put Oftana over CJ Perez, definitely.
Hindi, so Maui, ang question sa'yo is CJ Perez versus Abando.
Yes, I think it's CJ Perez versus Abando. But Gab made the point, we need more wing players. We need more shooting. So probably it's gonna be Abando or Pogoy dun sa magulo. I think magulo talaga. I think the problem with the Philippine team kasi is some of our wing players are really guards. Some of the side, most of our wing players are guards in terms of height and how they play. This is why Tab Baldwin was playing Carl Tamayo and Baltazar as small forwards because he wanted to develop more of the big men, the players that who were playing tweener slots as a small forward or power forward into small forwards. I think this is our biggest hole. Kaya si Malonzo is definitely a must. I think he's priority number one to make it. It's gonna be crazy if he doesn't make it. But yes, I agree. I think Oftana can be the last slot.
Okay.
Ako,
Sige.
I just wanted to make a point na kasi I've been watching a lot of the exhibition games from the World Cup bound teams. And it's glaring how little we shoot threes compared to other teams, which is weird because we're a small team and we don't shoot a lot of threes. So we cannot have Perez and Thompson or even Newsome together on the same team. They don't shoot threes enough. And if we don't shoot threes, we don't have a chance to win these games. So for me, the Oftana Malonzo Parks trio on the wings, they have to play and shoot threes talaga. So I don't know, but well, we've locked them in. So
Okay, so we have our 12-man roster. Again, everybody deserves to make it. Actually, sa totoo lang, mahirap talaga. I really wanted si Roger Pogoy. FEU pa lang, FEU Days favorite ko yan. So, syempre, you have 30 and all the other guys, but obviously we have to select 12 players. So, it is Kai Soto, AJ Edu, Japet Aguilar, Junmar Fajardo, Dwight Ramos, Bobby Ray Parks, Renz Abando, Jamie Malonzo, Jordan Clarkson, Kiefer Ravenas, no, not CJ Perez, Scotty Thompson, and Oftana, Calvin Oftana. And that's our 12-man roster. Before we close, quickly lang, we're getting to the 1 hour mark. Any guys that you think deserves to be considered for the Gilas team or deserves at least to have been part of the 20-man roster or the 16-man roster? Anyone missing na you wanted to see sana? Let's start with
excluding those who begged off.
Yes. Excluding those who begged off. Let's start with Maui.
Yeah, I think yung number one consideration ko talaga should be Matthew Wright. I mean, he's been a mainstay of Gilas and it's so surprising. We lack shooting and Matthew Wright is not in the pool. Not sure why there's no coverage as to why Matthew Wright is not in the pool.
Umalis kasi ng PBA eh.
Galit ba PBA? Kaya galit ba SBP because he abandoned the PBA? Same with Robert Bolick. You can make the same case for Robert Bolick with Matthew Wright. I think Bolick was one of the top players nung last World Cup with CJ Perez. It's crazy that they are not even considered for the pool. Some other player I'll have to mention is Baltazar. I think Baltazar played really well during the Tab Baldwin era. So si Coach Tab should also have been in consideration.
Sabi ko player, bro.
Yeah, player. Yeah, but yeah, I think si Baltazar, I think he played well nung last window. He was playing the 3 and 4 slot. It's crazy that these names are not mentioned as being part of the pool or even just part of the training program. Team USA has their select team. Why can't the Philippines have a select team competing against the national team? It's crazy how we can't put up a huge pool. And lastly, I think one other player is RJ Barrientos. He came off a very good season sa Korea. He was Rookie of the Year and he also performed well nung si Coach Tab yung coach. So these are young guys. These are the future of Gilas and it's crazy that these names are not even mentioned in consideration for the World Cup. And most of them are guards. We lack point guards, so it's crazy.
So Maui mentioned it, and I think I've mentioned it all throughout the 50 minutes we've been talking. There are two things that we lack. I think we're good with bigs now. We have 4 very capable big men. The problem is yung tama si Maui, guards, point guard, and shooting. I think we severely lack shooting. We don't take enough of them. So, yung nga, the players that I would have considered yung for this team, definitely Matthew Wright, Marshall Lassiter, even a guy who's playing really well now in Von Pesumal, I think should have been considered, man. I mean, he's so hot right now in the PBA on tour, or in the past in the PBA on tour, was so hot.
Kahit yung batchmate
There are...
natin, si Wami Chongson,
Oh,
should have been in consideration.
Wami.
If we're
Yeah,
talking
I
about
mean,
point
Wami.
guards and shooting, it's crazy how it's not part of consideration.
Yeah, and yung other guards, we have so many point guards. I don't understand why we don't have any here in this pool. I want to give a shout out to players who have played in the national team before who are point guards: Matt Nieto, SJ Pelangel, RJ Abarientos, Ray Suerte, Juan Gomez de Leaño. We have so many young, talented point guards, and I'm so dumbfounded why we don't have any in the pool. I mean, we're converting Kiefer and Scotty into point guards. They're not point guards. So yun, big holes. But it's done now. We'll just see how they perform in less than a month. Sam, any...
Next week na.
Next week na.
Next week na pala.
Next week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Actually, you guys made the same picks. I had Robert Bolick. Also, hindi ko naisip si RJ, but I wanted to do SJ Belangel just because siya yung tumira nung game winner noon. So, medyo legend siya for us. So, I wanted like Mr. Clutch to be part of the team. I actually wanted to work with a theme, which was bring it back to our usual topics, UAAP players. So, I didn't go far. I actually picked like the guys that were sort of part of the recent iterations of the team na I was hoping would have still been part of like the training pool or whatever. Jerome Lastimosa, KQ,
Great points, Sam. Great
Mason
point.
Amos. If you want height, you want to develop the future like wings and sort of small ball big men of the Philippines, KQ, Mason Amos. These guys can shoot. You want shooting? These guys can shoot. Future point guard, Jerome Lastimosa. They were part of the team before. So, gusto ko lang sana ng consistency and like getting them more playing time. Pero okay na rin kasi baka masyado nang magaling si KQ sa Lasal. So, wag muna. Baka magka-Gilas bump na naman siya. Wag muna. Relax ka lang, KQ. Wag ka masyadong magpagaling.
JD Kagulangan, I think, could make a case.
JD? Yes. So, yeah. There you
Francis
have it.
Lopez?
That's true. Actually, si Francis Lopez, who has been part of the Gilas team. Although, I don't know, Maui or Gab, do you know, bawal na ba, like from the UAP or something? Kasi biglang hindi na sila kasama.
Pwede.
They are part of the team.
Pwede.
So,
diba?
wala naman.
Kahit
Kataon lang.
Di ba sila Anthony Davis haven't played sa NBA. They're part of the team already.
Oh, galit lang si Chot Reyes sa bata.
Grabe. Those accusations.
It's true. He doesn't play young guys.
Those accusations. He likes his bets. Ganun na lang. Ganun ba yun? Anyway, that's it. That's our 12-man roster. Hindi namin alam kung ganun nga ba talaga. But that's our picks for the Gilas team. We will find out by next week. I think sabi ni Chot, they have until a day before the games to finalize the roster. So, probably baka sagarin nila. And all we can do is hope
tayo
and pray na manalo tayo.
Tayo sagad. Yung mga iba hindi nga. I mean, may final lineup.
Final na eh.
It's crazy.
So, we'll see.
Ito na lang.
We'll see. Maui, alam ko manonood ka ng game against
Angola.
Ano yung papanood? Angola. So,
the best chance of Gilas,
the fans,
in my opinion.
To the fans, best chance of Gilas. To the fans watching the Angola game, baka makita nyo si Maui. Say hi. If you haven't yet, don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe down below. Share the YouTube channel to everyone. We're trying to get to 1,000 likes. And if you don't know, we do have a Spotify, so you can also subscribe to our Spotify channel where we post all our podcasts there. So that's it for us today. See you again next week. Sana manalo tayo. Go Philippines. Bye-bye.